do it. And then TJ Miller did it.
Oh, good. Lucky you. I'm so glad. So when do now we're skipping over some of the gossipy stuff. We're skipping over personal life stuff because I remember there's a lot of trauma in the world. Like the world was small enough back then to where like when you broke up with what's his name and went with the what's her name, that there was like a big there was a rupture in the community.
What?
It's like, what? She's not going out with what's his name and she's going out with her? When did this happen? Do you remember?
No, what are you talking about?
I just remember Dylan.
Oh, Dylan. Yeah.
Like you were with Dylan, and he was sort of a comic, right? Or an actor?
Dylan was not a comic. He was a very talented filmmaker.
But he was always with you.
He was
and then,
he was great.
And then, but I don't know how public you are about whatever. It seems like you are. Are you?
About?
Because I see, like, you public about the secret society?
I mean, I feel like it helps people.
Me too. So I used to see, him or at certain secret society meetings because I'd go to both of them because I was with Double Winner. I was doing the codependent thing and the AA thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're not with Dylan anymore, and then you're with Tig, and everyone was like, "She's with Tig? When did that happen?" That went on for like years, though, right?
No, I was with Dylan and there's some time lapse issues in that.
In my narrative?
In your narrative.
I'm sorry, I didn't keep up with you as fully as I should.
You didn't keep the best tabs, but
what?
Yeah, I was with Dylan about 2.5 years.
Right.
And then I left, we broke up, and I left the secret societies, and I started drinking.
Oh. How long had you had sober?
Several years at that point.
So how was it fun to start drinking again?
It actually was so fun.
Yeah, this is really helping other people. Not only does the secret society not work, but it's fun to drink.
No, it definitely was really fun until it wasn't anymore. And now I definitely prefer not drinking personally for me.
Are you back in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And when did 8? Congratulations.
Thank you.
I got 21.
You're winning.
No
You're
one
winning.
wins.
That's
no
amazing.
One wins. No one wins. It's just a day, man. Yeah. We just got today. So when did the Tig thing happen? Are we just blowing over that?
Well, I mean, what have you heard? I'll fact check.
I haven't heard anything. I just remember like we were all sort of excited and intrigued that Melinda Hill is with Tig Notaro, and like a lot of us are like, wow, Tig's got game. She's a player, man. Melinda, how does it work? What's happening?
People need answers. Oh my gosh, so funny. Well, that happened about, I guess around that time. Yeah, Dylan and I broke up. I'd always had a boyfriend doing stand-up.
Yeah.
I was with Dylan the whole time, so I was never throwing out some single vibe or anything.
Right.
And then, I started having drinks at shows.
Yeah.
And then I started, traveling around the world, having drinks in other countries, trying all the drinks.
Yeah.
And,
good.
Having the Mai Tai in Hawaii, having the,
Yeah. You really got around, huh?
Having the sake in Japan.
Nice. Yeah.
Having the hot toddy in London. Why not?
How is all that happening?
Well, because I was doing tours. We were doing tours for troops.
Oh, with Tig?
No, I was on separate stand-up tours.
Oh, okay.
And then while I was on a tour for troops across all of the South Pacific, I was offered a job in London doing that show, World Stands Up, where they fly the comedians in from around the world.
And how did these go for you?
The tours?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ultimate service, being of service, bringing comedy to people on islands and where, they are starved for entertainment and morale. So in that sense, it's really wonderful.
When do you start this isolating thing? Was this a couple years ago where you start to have these symptoms of buried trauma or...
Yes. So I'm doing Tiger Lily. It's moved to The Gower Gulch. It's in that little corner of the Gower Gulch.
Yeah. No, I did it. I did it several times.
Yeah, you were there several times. And it got really popular. It was like packed every week with these amazing comedians.
Yep.
And I found myself just, like, I would drive to go there, and I either wouldn't put myself on the lineup or I would just drive home. I found myself starting to hide. I was like hiding.
I kind of remember that. Like, you'd be there at the beginning, and it was sort of like, oh, that's her show. It's your show. And then you'd go.
Yeah. And I just started to... Retreat. And I started... What was happening with my writing was I started a storytelling show before that show, and I would start telling these stories, and then it was like that. The stuff from the childhood that I had basically blocked out my whole life, like I don't even remember most of my childhood, started to come out in these stories.
Before the same night as Tiger Lily. I remember, yeah. I think I did one of those.
Did you? Yeah. It was a great place to get new material.
Right.
And that's more my style, is more storytelling.
Sure.
And so I would get to generate a lot of material in the most no-pressure way, in a way that you couldn't really do on Tiger Lily anymore, because it was just such, so many people were there. So I started to do these stories that were like really honest and vulnerable, and I think people were scared for me, because I was starting to tell the truth on stage. It was coming out.
About your childhood.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I think it was just coming up.
Were you crying on stage?
I mean, I think at one...
That's generally the point of concern when people are at a comedy show and the entertainer's crying. It's usually where they're like, is she okay? I think she's crying.
I definitely did cry once. I definitely started crying.
On a storytelling show, so it's okay. You got a little bit of room to cry in a storytelling show.
But it was like... what's going on? And I feel like it was just a need to
get the work done.
Get some work done.
So you found a therapist.
Yeah, and I was like, become a regular at the Comedy Store around that time. And I stopped drinking again and started going to therapy.
So that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So you drank for a while.
Yeah.
You went through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Relationships. Weirdness. And you also did your codependent thing.
Yeah.
So now 8 years ago, you kind of locked back in, got sober.
Yeah.
You doing both? Double wintering it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I definitely need the help with relationships and letting others do their thing. You do your thing. I'll do my thing.
Without your help? Without your trying to control them and help them?
Exactly. I needed help to stop being a counselor, because that's not my job. And I'm not even that great at it. My clients are dying.
They're just gone. And they're not dying.
Yeah.
But this was sort of the beginning of the process of... dealing with your past, dealing with the trauma, and putting together this special.
Yeah, when I went to EMDR, they uncovered the memories, and there was like a memory from my childhood that, like, basically my dad had these rages, and it was really scary, and none of us knew that this was like something he could get help for or anything like that. But I tried to tape record it on a little tape. Remember those old school, like...
the Panasonics?
And I tried to tape record it.
You got to hit both buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, really young, 4 or 5, and I tried to tape record this rage and like smuggle it out of the house to the next like big family gathering.
You're just going to play it around? Just walk around with it?
I was just going to see if anyone was interested in representing us with this tape. And and then I made copies, and I was selling it later at comedy shows. No, I'm kidding. So I'm walking around my grandma's.
I think I got one of those. It's called Dad's Mad.
Exactly. It's a hit. So I tried to leave it at my grandma's just as a cry for help. that someone would like save us. And no one ever found it.
Oh, wow.
And so that was a memory in EMDR. And then I later was like so scared someone would find it that I went to my grandma's being like, you know that tape I left here? It was a joke.
Right.
Trying to cover up what was happening. I didn't want anyone to get in trouble.
Right. Huh.
My grandma's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So that was the beginning of, that was the portal into the trauma, was that story.
That's a story that we worked on, and there was so much in there of like believing that your voice doesn't matter, that you aren't going to make any impact, so you might as well be quiet. No one's going to save you, like that there's no help.
Right.
And so like processing all of that, and then just like you can see how that would play out in you know, career stuff is like...
And everything, sure.
You don't matter.
Right.
No one's going to help.
Right.
So, like, really processing that and, like, that and several other similar things it has made a huge difference.
It's great. And then also having friends like Maria, supportive people.
Oh, my God. Maria's the best. Margaret Cho.
Cho's helping out, too?
The best.
Great.
You know, just to be able to call people and say, like, how do you do this? I don't know. Like, what do you charge for this? Like, how did you make this happen? And Maria's the best because she'll just be like, you know...
Practical.
She's like, do it in your living room. It doesn't fucking matter, you know? Like, and so a lot of this, like, running the special, I would just say, I'm running my special tonight at 6 p.m. in my living room. And people would come and watch. And I would take notes. What resonated with you? What were you enjoying? And so it was really like...
That is specifically a Maria process.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of amazing how she does that, how you guys have made... That it's actually a practical system that you were able to use. Is like, why not do it like that? Do you know? I mean, you know, connecting's connecting. And if you're sort of completely reliant on, I got to go to the theater, I got to rent this... I mean, she just solicits people on Twitter to sit with her for an hour.
Maria doesn't care. She used to hire me just to listen to her new jokes, which was the best job. And I would just drive over to Eagle Rock and listen to her jokes. And she would do that from the road sometimes. And now, she just meets people on Twitter. And she really...
She'll buy them lunch.
Yeah, she'll buy them lunch. And she'll just... What that does is it simplifies the process, you know, of like... You know, instead of spending all this time promoting an appearance, you're going to have to make all this money to pay back or whatever. How about just focus on the material?
Right.
And so anyway, so that's a lot of how it came together, in addition to doing like 1 million spots everywhere.
Well, that's very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And what's this movie?
Oh, so yeah, I did a movie called Love, Weddings, and Other Disasters. And that is starring... Diane Keaton, Jeremy Irons. It's coming out December 4th.
Big part?
It's one of my first lead roles in a film.
Wow, with those big hitters. So were you doing scenes with both of them?
No, they had their scenes. It's 4 different storylines.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in a completely separate storyline.
Okay.
We filmed it in Boston for a month.
Wow.
And it was a wonderful shoot. Boston's a great town, as I'm sure you know. It's a really great script. It was a really fun part.
And where's that going to be on?
That'll be COVID pending. I don't know what the premiere will entail. Yeah. But it will be everywhere, released from Saban Entertainment on December 4th.
Okay.
I had to do a Russian accent.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you do that? Did you buy a tape?
You know, Dennis said, don't do that. So it was really kind of unlearning what I'd done in the audition because I was doing a very funny character, like from Barry type Russian accent. And so it was sort of unlearning that and making her a very real person who's like authentic. I got to use my Meisner.
Great. Did they have a dialect coach?
No.
Nothing.
They did send me to a trainer. So I worked out with a personal trainer because there were a lot of stunts and things that I had to do.
What's this character?
A lot going on in this movie. I am a Russian girl, Svetlana, who is trying to escape from her dark and sordid life involving the Russian mafia. And, you know, it's really funny, but she's really needs to get out.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
funny.
It's heavy and funny. Yeah.
And what have you been doing during lockdown? Are you doing voice stuff?
No. Some voice stuff will come through.
Are you alone over there with the cat?
I'm alone with